My name is Leroy Kucia. I was the one who was coordinating this workshop. Just briefly about my background, I have an MFA in commercial illustration from the Savannah College of Art and Design. I received that in 2008, and prior to that I received my bachelor's degree in interactive media design. Here, while in Korea, like many individuals, I am an English teacher here. And this is my email address. And again, these are the artists. We have Erin Heath, myself, Jen Lee, Lisa Mynhardt, and Isaiah Winters. They are the artists that are going to be presenting their work today. So just to give you an overview of the workshop, the reason why we chose the rabbit, again, is because it's rather ideal, that seeing that it is the Chinese New Year, the year of the rabbit. So I felt that, you know, as spring was emerging, now was the opportunity to actually take advantage of the subject matter. And some of the goals and objectives of this workshop were very course specific. For one, the idea of the workshop was to stimulate creativity through art. So to gather individuals together to be able to do a working piece of art and to have an exhibition. Develop community relationships. Ideally, all the participants would have the opportunity to learn about the community around them. So they were given an introduction to Art Street, where all the print shops were, just the local area and businesses here in Gwangju. And the goal was to produce a finished piece of art that each artist could feel comfortable with presenting here today. And finally, hold a public exhibition. So the workshop consisted of a four-week term. Every Saturday the artists would be meeting, and each week we would have certain agendas or goals that we'd have to achieve. For the first week, I can go back real quick. The first week, it was just introducing the artists to cultural traditions and the whole concept and goal of the project. They learned a lot about rabbit genealogy, different kind of methods of folklore, traditions all over the world, and to just introduce the significance of the actual project as being the rabbit, you know, as the core focus. The second week, that was when we had a chance to really learn about the community. Some artists here were relatively new to Gwangju, so they were unfamiliar with the areas here, as far as where all the art shops were, where they can find materials, print shops, where they can get things printed. So this was a good opportunity to introduce the artists to the vendors. And the third week was a figure study. That was when this was a working activity where I actually brought a rabbit in for the artists to work with, and so they could actually see a rabbit interact in space, and so they could get their ideas down, do some drawings, get creative ideas going, just to get the flow of things. So this was a very important part of the workshop because, as you can see, as you're going to see with the rest of the work here, everyone has their own unique creative approach to how they perceive the rabbit, and so this was fundamentally important. So again, we were doing figure studies, we were just doing a series of drawings. Each artist had the opportunity to just do their sketches and just to kind of get a feel for what their project was going to be and the direction that it was going into. The fourth week was the work in progress. That's when we had a chance to see what the artists were doing. I had a chance to view all the artists' projects, see the direction that they were going in. If they were running into any kind of design challenges or difficulties, we could address them at that time. So the fourth week was just kind of fleshing out the final idea of the project before it went to presentation. And this brings us to the artist statement. This is the artist statement which explains the whole concept of this presentation today. And basically the artist statement is, in cultural traditions, mythological folklore, and contemporary art, rabbits have often exhibited distinct human personality traits such as wisdom, innocence, cunningness, and virility. The Rabbit Tales Workshop The Rabbit Tales Workshop presented a unique design challenge to the individual artist to communicate these traits in your own creative way, utilizing a variety of media in order to express your vision. And so that is the artist statement for the show. So each piece of art represents some kind of concept from, you know, these human personality traits, and a lot of that comes through very well with the individual work. So now, again, I want to address the individual artists again. Again, we have Erin Heath, who will be presenting first, myself, Jen Lee, Lisa Mynhardt, and Isaiah Winters. So I'd like to present Erin Heath first. Can you please come up? She's going to explain her work.
Hello, Erin Heath. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi in the United States. And this is the first time I've ever tried to do any art in Gwangju. I've been intimidated by not knowing where to buy supplies or having something to work on. So I decided this time, I usually work on found pieces, found objects like wood, but I wasn't really sure about where to find those kinds of things. So for this project, I decided to use watercolor paper. So, and my paint for this project was tempera. Normally I work with acrylics, but I really like the color of the poster paints that I found here. So the first one is what I decided to do that was the first design that I came up with. And I really enjoy colors. I'm very influenced by iconography, nature, anything that has anything to do with colors I love. So I hope that that comes out in my work. The second piece I did as sort of like the evil other bunny because I think that a lot of my work has a lot of subtle humor, and to me something that is innocent like a rabbit also has maybe a dark side as well. So those are my two pieces. I don't really have a whole lot more to say because I'm not used to speaking about my work, but if anybody has any questions, does that happen at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
For my project, I chose to incorporate the idea of the rabbit in my monthly comic strip, my Digby strip. So what I wanted to try and approach here was the inquisitiveness that rabbits have. They're always very curious creatures. So this is just basically a panel from my strip, showing the rabbits looking at the viewer. So the viewer is interacting with the rabbit, and the rabbit is interacting with the viewer. Each are inquisitive about each other, and so that's the whole premise behind that. Next we have Jen Lee.
Hi, my name is Jen Lee. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I've been doing digital art and comics and things like that for about 10 years now. Anyways, I don't know if anyone knows, but I was born on the year of the rabbit, so I've always felt somewhat connected to rabbits. And this particular piece, I don't know if a lot of people know about this, but it's about the Chinese goddess of the moon. Her name is Chang'e, I think that's how you pronounce it. But basically, it's a story of a woman who gained immortality but was taken from her husband in the process. And she lives alone on the moon with her pet companion, which is a rabbit. This rabbit is also known, but in Korean folklore, as the rabbit that sits there and makes the elixir in the moon. Anyways, I kind of wanted to give a sense of longing, that kind of mysterious aspect and somewhat of an innocent aspect that comes with the rabbit. So that's I don't know what else to say. So thank you for coming.
Next we have Lisa Mynhardt.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lisa Mynhardt, and I'm from South Africa. And I was very inspired by the other artist's perspective about rabbits, and it got me thinking about how rabbits perceive us. Not necessarily how we perceive rabbits. So I took a little bit of a different stance on how to illustrate this project, and I chose photography. It's not usually my medium. I'm more an oil on canvas kind of artist, but I thought that photography would be the best way to try and show you how rabbits would probably look at humans. I took two subjects, a male and a female, luckily for me, my friends, that were willing enough to put on rabbit mask and to take some direction and give me some great poses. And I edited softly on the computer to just give you more of an old world feel to it. And I think the results speak for themselves. You can see a lot of the interesting qualities that Leroy mentioned, the inquisitive nature and the virility and everything else in my pictures. I also made 3 extra pieces, 1 sketch, and the masks that I used in the photographs too. I think my work is focused on a little bit of a deeper side, a darker side, like Erin said, of a rabbit, because we all know Bugs Bunny and the fluffiness and the cuteness of a rabbit, but we very rarely think about all of their other personality traits. I think, thanks to Leroy, now rabbits aren't food, they're friends. So please enjoy the show, and I hope that you'll find some interesting things about rabbits doing this art. Thanks very much.
Finally, we have Isaiah Winters.
Hello everyone, my name is Isaiah Winters, and I have no background in art really. I don't have any education or any training. That's where Leroy came in. He helped me a lot with this. So this kind of workshop is for anyone, even people who don't have any background in art whatsoever. I just have artistic parents, so they passed on the genes. Here is a drawing I did. It's basically about the fertility rate, how it's sort of very low. So you have fewer people at the bottom, at the base of society, to sort of pay the taxes for the elderly. That's why there's the aged rabbits on the top, some middle-aged rabbits, and then really young one on the bottom supporting it all. And this is sort of like a way of inverting the idea of rabbits as being really sexually profligate, as you would say, reproducing a lot. It's turning that idea on its head, just to show that this is sort of a big social problem or something like that. And that's about it. It's just graphite, like just pencil on illustration paper. Nothing too special. But thanks to Leroy, that came out. I'm really proud of it, even though it's fairly simple. So thank you for that, and thank you all for coming out. Thank you.
So that concludes the project as far as the 4 weeks go. And I really appreciate all the artists who participated because, you know, the concept of, you know, if I tell you, you know, we're going to spend 4 weeks drawing rabbits, most people are like, no, I've got plans, I can't, I'm sorry, and then drop off. But they were very committed, and they were very committed to the project, and the artist statement reflects that in their work. And they all produced really great work. And thank you very much for participating in my show. And
I think we should give everybody a big round of applause.